1, 2, 3, come on.
Come on, come on.
Good morning students, this is PK sir, your chemistry sir, welcoming you the next part of the chapter acids, bases and salts of class 10th NCERT science. Before this already we have discussed so many things in this chapter, so you can see all these videos, all these parts in the I button. Now the next unit of the chapter is unit 2.2. What is common in acids, all acids and bases? Okay, means already we have discussed about acids, bases, everything, but here we start the chemical properties of acids. Okay, in this one activity is given in your textbook. One activity is given. Although this activity has to be performed in the chemistry lab, but since you are not present here, so I am not performing also. But what is the conclusion of this activity we will be discussing here. Okay, that activity is 2.8. Activity 2.8. Now what is this activity 2.8? Look here. In the figure, one beaker is given. In the figure, you may see one beaker. And in the beaker, on the bottom, one cork is kept. One cork is present. This is cork. And on this cork, two iron nails are present. Two iron nails are present. Okay. And with these iron nails, two wires are connected. In this way, these wires are connected with this is the arrangement in your textbook. Okay, this is the arrangement of electric circuit. Here 6-volt battery is present. Here it is a bulb, and here it is a switch. Here it is a switch. So this is the arrangement. What are these two? Iron nail, and this is wire, of course. Now in this activity you are asked to perform this activity by taking samples of various chemicals. Now what is the name of the samples? First one is let us see glucose. You need to take glucose solution. Now how will you use that glucose solution? You just fill this beaker with glucose up to this level. Means up to this level you need to fill this this beaker. You need to fill up to this level. Okay. What is this cork? Generally cork is made up of wood, and wood is insulator of electric current. So electricity will not pass through this wooden cork. Okay. Now second one is glucose, then it is sugar solution. Third one is HCl solution. What is HCl? Hydrochloric acid. Next fourth one is NaOH solution. So these are some samples which you are asked to take one by one in this paper, in this beaker, and then you are asked to check that the bulb is glowing or not. If the bulb is glowing, we will be using in this way. Okay, switch on off, you can take care. Now next, when you are using this glucose solution, what is your observation? You note it down. Then when you are using this sugar solution, what is your observation? You note it down. In the same way, you note it also for HCl solution, HCl solution, and so what is your observation? You note it down for all these cases. Okay, glucose solution, sugar solution, HCl solution, and NaOH solution. In which case the bulb glows and in which case the bulb does not glow. Okay, you may take one more sample, or there are many samples you can use. Fifth one is urea solution. Urea, that is a white colored chemical. Urea solution you can use. You can use sulfuric acid solution. These are the samples. Okay, now when we perform this activity, you will see that along with this solution the bulb does not glow, with this solution the bulb does not glow. For this means glucose solution. For glucose solution bulb does not glow. For sugar solution the bulb does not glow. For fifth point, that is urea solution. So for urea solution also the result is negative. So only the result is positive, that is bulb is glowing, is with HCl solution, NaOH solution, and sulfuric acid solution. Now what is the special thing in these three samples which make them to glow the bulb? Okay, so when we are talking about acid or H2SO4 or base, what is common? When this water, this HCl is dissolved in water, when this HCl is dissolved in water or it is mixed in water, then it provides H plus ion. It provides H plus ion. In the same way, this also provides 2H plus ions. Here it is not providing H, but in place of H plus it is providing OH minus ion. In the same way, this is also providing OH minus ion. So all these cases, they are producing ions. They are producing ions, and these ions are helpful. These ions are responsible for electricity, and which ultimately flows in the wires and then makes the bulb glow. So this is the reason that all acids and bases now so what is common in all acids and bases? Already we have discussed. Still, if any doubt, you may ask in comment section that what is the conclusion of this activity. In exam on this activity, very simple questions asked. Okay, how? Look, it may be multiple choice question, like you will be given 4 type of choices, and the examiner will ask you that which of the solution of these 4 choices will glow the bulb. Okay, so very easy. You need to just check whether it is acid or base. If it is acid or base, surely in water, it will glow the bulb. Okay. Next 2.2.1. 2.2.1. I am not writing the name of the unit or the topic, simply I am just extending this one. Okay. Now when you are mixing HCl in water, what happens? Already we have discussed, HCl will provide H plus ion plus Cl minus plus water is present there. Okay. Now this H plus, that is hydrogen ion, or it is also called a proton, simply a proton. Now this hydrogen does not have electron, and due to this hydrogen ion is very unstable. Anyhow it requires electron. Now in the reaction mixture in water, oxygen is present there. And oxygen holds 2 lone pair of electrons. These are the free electrons present with the oxygen. So they can be used by this H plus ion to satisfy to fulfill the deficiency of electron of this hydrogen ion. Okay. So when this one in this one they are connected, means H plus and H2O, then they form another ion, and that is written H3O plus, and it is called hydronium ion. This is called hydronium ion. Okay. H plus cannot live in the form of H plus, so simply it will get electrons from water molecules, and in this way it will form another ion, that is hydronium ion. Okay. So this is important, hydronium ion. So you can write this equation in the another form also. Look on the board. So you can also write this equation in another way, that is HCl plus H2. Now it gives, simply directly I am writing here hydronium ion and Cl minus, and here I am writing Aq. What is Aq? Aqueous, means this chloride ion, this Cl minus is present in water, that's why we used to write here Cl minus Aq. This is the state of this chloride ion, aqueous state. Okay. And here it is hydronium ion. Here also you can write L, that is liquid, or you can use Aq. So this is the next method or another method of this equation. This one is also correct and that one also correct. Okay. Now here it is given hydronium ion. You see in the name, in the last Em is there. So whenever a positive ion is named, generally we take the suffix ium, that is em. Okay, for ion. So this is hydronium ion. Next, so in this reaction you can see easily, and the same equation you can also write for many acids which you have already discussed. Okay. Next, what happens when you are mixing sodium hydroxide in water? What happens when you are mixing sodium hydroxide in water? I am asking you to write the equation NaOH plus water. What happens? In the same way, potassium hydroxide, water, what happens? So NaOH and KOH means sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, they are base. Okay. And what is the identification of a base? That in water it will provide OH minus ion. OH minus ion. This will also provide OH minus ion. And if electricity is passed through the solution of this sodium hydroxide in water and KOH in water, then electricity is, that bulb is glowing. Okay, and this glow, the glowing of this bulb is due to the movement, the transport or the movement of this hydroxide ion. Okay, so this is the reason of this what you call movement. Okay, here K plus or Na plus is also there. Na plus is also there, and here it is K plus. It doesn't matter whether you are writing this part in the right side and this part in the left side. This part you are writing in the right side and in the left side OH minus. You can interchange the position of these ions. Okay, it doesn't matter. But during organic chemistry, you will be discussing in the chapter 4. Yes, in chapter 4, class 10th, carbon and its compounds. So in that chapter or in organic chemistry, we have to take care that the main product of the reaction should be written first, and the side products or secondary products should be written in the last. Okay, but here it doesn't matter. Okay, now you may ask that this equation is not balanced. This equation is not balanced. So simply you can write here AQ. Here also you can write AQ. What does it mean? It means OH ion or sodium ion is present in water. So this is the balanced equation, or such type of reactions are not required. Such types of reactions are not required to balance. One more equation you can write: calcium hydroxide plus water, and then you write down the chemical reaction in comment section. Let me see how many of you are watching this video attentively or with your concentration. Okay, so this is the next part of this reaction 2.2.1. okay, now here we can see one more thing, that these bases are soluble in water. These bases are soluble in water. So these type of bases which are soluble in water, for them we use another separate word, and that word is alkali. Generally in exam there may be asked this question directly, that what do you understand by alkali? Water soluble bases. What is the definition? Water soluble bases are called alkalis. Water soluble bases are called alkalis. Okay, so this is the general common definition of an alkali. Okay, next is there any special feature of alkalis? Yes, alkalis are soft. They are soft. They feel soapy. Soft, feel soapy. And then next one is bitter and corrosive. Corrosive means what? What is the meaning of corrosive? Corrosive and bitter. What is the meaning of corrosive? Simply, corrosive means these acids are dangerous, simply hazardous for our skin, for our cloth, or whatever we are wearing. Okay, so while we are handling these acids and bases, although bases are also corrosive and acids also. Okay, so corrosive means which are harmful for us. If they are dropped on our skin or our clothes, then it will damage. Okay, that is why they are called corrosive. Or in another way, you can also see if they come in contact with some non-living surface, then they damage that surface also. Okay, you will see in the chemistry lab. You will see in the chemistry lab so many things have been disturbed or damaged by this corrosion process. Bitter means very easily. You just try to test any washing soap. You will see that the taste of that washing soap is bitter. The taste of that washing soap is bitter because of what? Because of alkali, or especially if you are talking, then it is sodium hydroxide in washing soap. Okay, so this is the this is the property of bases or alkalis. Okay, next is, now can we write the neutralization reaction in another way, in a simple method? What is that? Earlier we have discussed neutralization reaction. Neutralization reaction. Earlier we have discussed neutralization reaction. What is neutralization reaction? Simply acid plus base react with each other and gives salt plus water. This is the neutralization reaction. For example, you can take HCl, that is acid, base, that is sodium hydroxide, and then what is the salt here? NaCl, and plus water, that is H2. You may also say heat is there. Heat is also produced in neutralization reaction. Now this HCl is a specific example, means hydrochloric acid. In place of HCl we can take HX, and this X part is unknown part, means it may be from where is that sulfuric acid, it may be from nitric acid. Okay, so we are not mentioning that specifically, it is common HX. Next is 4. Here it is a metal, sodium is a metal. We may write in this way also, MOH, metal hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, metal hydroxide. Here what is common? This part. Now in this reaction, what did you observe? That sodium part of base and Cl part of acid, they are getting mixed or getting attached. They are forming NaCl. In the same way, M part of NOH, X part of HX, they will fuse and it will form what? MX. What is this MX? Salt. And then this OH part and this H part, it will form water as usual, you have already seen, and heat is also there. So this is the generalized way to express the neutralization reaction. This is the generalized way to express the neutralization reaction. Okay, so this is the neutralization part of the chapter. After this one more point we have to discuss is dilution. The next topic, that is dilution. What is dilution, or what is the meaning of dilution? We will be discussing here. Okay, look here. Suppose you have a container, and in that container milk is there. Up to this level milk is there. Now if you add water add water in this milk, add water in this milk, then of course the level of milk or the level of solution will increase. If the level of milk or mixture or solution is increased by adding water, you may say that you have diluted milk, you have diluted the milk which was present in this container. Okay, so this is called dilution. But what is the purpose of this topic in this one or in this chapter or in our chemistry lab? It is very important. Dilution is very important for us. Look how, when we are purchasing any salt or acid, look, when we are purchasing any acid, then from the manufacturer, this is coming in concentrated form, that means sometime it is 99% pure, 99% pure, and that 99% pure concentrated acid cannot be given to the students for performing various experiments, various activities in the chemistry lab. Now to make it, now it is dangerous, it is dangerous. Now to make it less dangerous, less harmful, we have to dilute it, so that process by which we are mixing water in this acid, okay, so that its harmful effect can be minimized. Okay, that process is called dilution. Okay, now what is the standard method for dilution? Suppose this is the bottle, in which concentrated acid is present. Concentrated acid, for example sulfuric acid, is present, and that is also 99% pure. 99% pure. Now this sample cannot be given directly to the students because it is harmful for them. If by mistake, by accident, they drop it on their skin, on their body parts, or on their clothes, it may damage. Okay, so it cannot be given to the students directly. Now what is the process? We take some amount, in a container, you may say beaker, or any container, and then put it water, fill some water in this beaker. In this beaker you fill some first water, and then after you take this amount. Okay, how much amount, that is calculation, that is different thing. Now you have to pour this acid drop by drop, and then you have to mix it, you have to swirl, or you have to stir the mixture. Okay, so this process is called dilution. Okay, now you will see that the surface of this container, has become hot, What happened? Why this is so? Because the mixing of acid in water is an exothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction you have already seen in chapter 1. You have already discussed in chapter 1. The same process happens with bases also. I have taken the example of concentrated acid, but the same thing happens in case of bases also. Means bases also have to be diluted in this way. Okay, never dilute an acid by mixing water in acid. What am I saying? Never dilute this acid by mixing water in it. That is the wrong process. We have to take small amount of this and then pour it in this one. This is the correct method. Okay, so this is the topic, dilution, and after dilution the concentration of that solution is decreased. After dilution the concentration of that solution is decreased. Okay, so this is the end of the class today, and keep revising the previous videos, previous topics. Till then, take care and bye bye.